Hello, hello, friends. Welcome to I Am Woke. I am your host, Emelina Calder, and in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the Akashic Records. I know you guys know that I channel the Akashic Records a lot. I'm going to kind of give you the TLDR, too long didn't read. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience and how you can get involved in reading and understanding your own Akashic Records. So I'll start right off there. If you're new to the Akashic Records, I do have a free training where I'll take you through 6 videos training you on how to go into your own Akashic Records, the database of your soul, and I have an entire 70-minute workshop as well. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below. It is free. When you sign up, you'll get a series of emails over the next week that explain each video and give you access to each video so that you can learn about the Akashic Records, what they can do for you, what they are, and how to begin tapping into and accessing your own soul blueprint, your own soul data. So that's where I'm going to start. For those of you that are new, my name is Emelina Calder. I am an Akashic Records reader, a high performance coach in life and business, which is all of my work always stems from the container of the Akashic Records. Everything I do, every part of myself, whether it is business, whether it is life, and all of the coaching I have ever done, is all grounded in the container of accessing my own intuitive abilities and understanding in reading the Akashic Records. Now, a lot of how I read the Akashic Records at this point is on autopilot. I have many more than my 10,000 hours of mastery, so I do it very naturally. I pop in and out of the Akashic Records all of the time. Some of you that are following me have worked with me personally, where I have actually gone into your own Akashic Records and helped you read your own soul data and your own soul blueprint, which I will get into what that means. But ultimately, everything that I do is in the container of the Akashic Records. I find it to be the safest and most enjoyable, energetic, intuitive experience to read and understand and intuit my gifts, the gifts of those around me, their soul data, like what their soul is incarnated in human form for, how to navigate karmic relationships, dissolve them, how to magnetize and step into your highest potential and your highest timelines, how to avoid disaster. I'm not gonna lie, I use the Akashic Records for that a lot. How to navigate through crisis, how to sidestep crisis. This is all Akashic Records work. And what's funny is when we say Akashic Records, I know it's very etheric and very esoteric, but I know it's also growing in popularity. So it's I want to touch on it and ground it and give you guys a more accessible, grounded understanding of what it is, my background and how I work with the Akashic Records, how I use it, how I've worked with it with my clients, and then to give you access to my free training so you can start working with this yourself. The reason why this is popping up so clearly right now is that I don't know, I feel like I got hit in the head this morning as far as people don't realize just how accessible their intuitive gifts are and how easy it actually is to understand, intuit, navigate, and organize those gifts so that you can literally change your reality in front of your face on a daily basis. And a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, you're just so gifted. Yes, I am gifted. I'm not going to sidestep that. But a lot of my gifts have everything to do with how I trained myself, and I received training in the Akashic Records. And the Akashic Records train you as well. It is like your soul team. When you guys think of spirit guides, whenever I talk about my guides, there are different entity types that I channel. But generally speaking, when you're working within the Akashic Records, you're getting access to your entire set of ascended masters, your entire set of angelics that are supporting you, your entire elevated ancestors, both in this life, people that have passed over, as well as parallel realities, future versions of yourself. When we talk about the guides in the Akashic Records, it's really, those spirit guides are your access to your entire spiritual team on demand, organized in a structure that your soul can understand and drip into your crown chakra and your understanding of your human experience. I hope this is making sense. I also want to touch on, I'm probably not going to jump into the comments until afterwards, but I want to say hello, welcome. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here with me. And, traveling on this interdimensional space travel conversation. That is the Akashic Records. We're all on this little spaceship together. So, gosh, I'm so excited to jump into this. Let me just think about where I want to go. Okay, so Akashic Records. What are the Akashic Records? Let's start there. I have many different ways of explaining what they are, but I'm just going to do it in the way that feels the most concrete and practical for me and for you guys right now. The Akashic Records are an organization of your energy, okay? A lot of people describe it as either a soul blueprint or a database of knowledge and wisdom. The Akashic Records are essentially the quantum field, okay? It's the field between us and everything that is invisible, that is like the organization of time, okay? Of timelines, of potential reality, and which realities are more accessible, present, or dense than others, meaning those are the realities that you're most likely to step into based in your own awareness, based in your own conscious understanding of how you navigate your world, and based on karmic circumstances. So what you were born into, what is running in your subconscious on autopilot from how you were raised, from societal norms, and also from how your soul is manifesting itself through parallel life realities, past life realities, and future life realities. And not to go super esoteric, but this is where I'm being led. All of that is always changing. As you resolve karmic patterns, which I want to say karmic patterns are just the law of cause and effect. The moment you understand how the effect is how what you're doing right now, your action now or inaction now, is going to affect your future, you change all of your realities, including your past life regressions and your future life regressions, okay? Time is always changing. The quantum is always meeting you where you are right now in your conscious ability to understand and organize your intuitive gifts, your energy, your actions, your decisions, your thoughts, your feelings, your physicality, your understanding of that physicality being the bridge to spirit, and everything in between. I feel like that's a lot, but I'm just going to keep going. So the Akashic Records are, when I work in the Akashic Records, when anyone is working in the Akashic Records, you are tapping into the stream of conscious and subconscious awareness that connects everything. When you work within your own Akashic Records, which is where I will always guide you guys to be, is working within your own soul blueprint, your own records. I love that you guys are talking back and forth in the comments. Yes, please greet each other. I love that so much. Support each other. We need like so much support in this world, you know? Especially from like-minded souls. Okay, so what I'm going to be guiding you to do, whether it's in my free training, whether it's anything I say on my channel, is working within your own Akashic Records. There are records. You can think about records like walking into a courthouse and like seeing organization of like data. Like there are rules, there are regulations, there are karmic understandings, there are past lives, there are future lives, there are all the versions of your current life, like the parallel dimensions. There are different aspects to the soul. Anyway, it's like the records are like you walking, just see it like this, like you're walking into a courthouse or you're walking into a hall. Some people call it a library. I don't love the library scenario because that makes it feel like it's just like you reading or understanding things, and that's not really what it is. It's a very dynamic energy that when you bring in the breath from the Akashic Records, you are elevating. You are increasing your ability to understand who you are, how you are, why you act the way that you act, why you don't act in certain ways, what can be changed about that, how to highlight your strengths, step into your highest timelines, your highest dimensional realities in this actual active waking life, which, let me make it very clear for you guys, that means making more money. I can't tell you how many times I have gone into my Akashic Records and said, I need a clear indication of how to move forward in business. I need to understand how I can make $10, $20, $30,000 a month. I would like you guys to stream down the information and tell me exactly what the next right best steps are going to be for me, what gifts I need to look for, what are my gifts, how do I bring those gifts to market in a safe way that is in integrity, that meets me in my personal creative expression. So, when we talk about business, there's so many different ways you can make money. A lot of my focus over the last 10 years has been but I want to do it in a way that feels best for my creative expression. I don't want to do things the way business is done just to do them. I'm not interested in that. I want to do it in a way that makes me feel expansive and fulfilled and loving and vibrant and creative. So that's always my focus. But anyway, my point is, going back to the practicality of the records, you can ask for, what are going to be the best career opportunities for you, how to start developing them, how to shortcut your process. Because the thing about working in the Akashic Records is you are working in the quantum field. So this is not about your typical, when you talk to most humans that are very, very physical and practical, they're oh, if you want to get this job, you have to go through this hierarchy and you have to spend a certain amount of time in entry level. Then you have to spend a certain amount of time kissing ass to these specific people so that you can get these promotions. That's not how the Akashic Records work, okay? The Akashic Records works like this. You go, here's where I'm at. Here's where I want to be. How the fuck do we get there? And the Akashic Records goes, well, here's what we would recommend. There are infinite paths to get there, but we've already pre-selected the paths, as our computer program is in the Akashic Records, that are going to be the most likely for you, the most likely highest timelines based on what you've asked to be your creative expression, what job you want or where you want to go in your life or how much money you think you're entitled to make every month, which you're entitled to your birthright, or your best soulmate love options. That's a whole thing in the Akashic Records as well. Navigating family dynamics, being able to make concrete decisions that you won't regret later, that you won't feel remorse over later, because you'll know how to make the right decisions for yourself. And I want to touch on that one because they're streaming it through to me, that is most of the difficulty, is that when you're looking to create a new life for yourself, if you don't trust your ability to make your own decisions and you're constantly wondering, is this the right decision? You're just making a mess out of your reality. And it's no discredit to anyone doing that. I've done it as well. It's more that bringing your attention and awareness to the fact that the Akashic Records are going to help you understand who you are at your soul level, at your most core authentic truth, at your core and your soul, be able to stream that data in through meditation. Okay, that's how we access the Akashic Records. It is a form of channeling work. For those of you that think that I'm just so special that I'm a psychic medium and that you guys can't do it, I want to break that reality for you. You all have access to channeling, and I'd be happy to start teaching you on how to do that. Of course, my gifts are finely tuned and developed. Of course, I am talented, but there's no reason that you couldn't also be talented in your own right to channel your own ability to access your highest potential and your highest timelines from your soul blueprint, from your soul data, from the guidance that is given to you. Now, I'm going to tap into this a little bit more on the guidance, because what's so interesting is that could you imagine, in this life, we only have access to, I don't know how to explain this. It's whatever we have access to physically, the mentors, there's so many, how do I say this? There's so many blocks on the access that you have. Wouldn't it be nice to be mentored by a multi-millionaire or a billionaire in business who has done the things that you want to do, and have that constant, consistent mentorship daily to help you to condition and organize your energy in order to become your version of that multi-millionaire, billionaire energy? That would be really fucking rad, right? Well, here's the deal, okay? When you go into your Akashic Records with your conscious choice, you can ask for mentorship on specific tracks of your personal development. I have ascended masters that mentor me in business, okay? I have ascended masters that are mentoring me in relationships. I have ascended masters that are mentoring me in leadership. These are what we would consider mediumship abilities, but it's less about thinking that you're talking to dead people, and it's more about understanding that you're learning how to intuitively understand your soul and your ability to choose and make the right decisions for yourself based on who you want to become, okay? I would say another way of saying that is based on the future that you want to create. based on how you want to break through and create a magnificent life. It's not just gonna happen. You can't just like live on autopilot and expect to all of a sudden like win the lotto. I'm not gonna go into the manifestation stuff because it's just such a crowded community, but what I really want to do is teach you that you already have everything that you want, and that there are timelines where you have everything. There are timelines where you're making millions of dollars a year. For many of you. And if it doesn't resonate, drop it. But if it does, maybe start stepping into it and start asking yourself, like, how can I do that from a place of integrity? I'm always going to say integrity. It is my absolute fucking core value is integrity. I vet everyone around me based on integrity. If what people say and what they do is not fucking equal, Emelina is out. Now, that is like part of the Akashic Records. A lot of my integrity comes from the Akashic Records. There are rules, there are regulations around how you navigate your intuitive awareness and how you change timelines, okay? Let me think about how to explain this. There are the time guardians are stepping into my space right now. You can't just change a timeline without having clearance, okay? It's kind of like driving. You can't drive a car without a license, all right? You can't drive a semi-truck without a different license. You can't drive a motorcycle on the road and like all be legal without a specific license. Intuitive frequencies, intuitive understanding, stepping into your highest potential and changing your future, changing your reality is the same. You have to have a fucking license, okay? You're not just gonna do it. So it's literally like, when I see in all these manifestation communities, they're like, oh my God, we're just gonna manifest it. Listen, cause and effect is real. And I don't know how else to describe this. You need a license. The first thing that they said, and I'm going to tell you, I am in the Akashic Records of the collective of light workers on the planet right now that are awake and alive and in life, okay? And literally, they told me, they said, tell them they're flying without a license. And that they need to understand the license. There are specific, I'm going to say it again, the Akashic Records are very legal, okay? They're very, like, there's a lot of flexibility, but you have to understand laws and regulations. Now, a lot of my friends call me a cosmic lawyer because like literally I just feel like I'm constantly navigating rules, contracts, arrangements, agreements, and karmic law. Now, karmic law can always be overridden by destiny, by the law of one. When you are with the law of one and you are no longer in the law, the karma, the fate, you have a lot of ability to change the timelines, not from a place of control, I would like to say, but from the place of being given permission based on a license that you are given to work with your own intuitive abilities, where divine will overrides your free will. It doesn't really override it. You give permission to divine will to change your track because you're willing to go with the flow, because you have a license to navigate. This is very much like flying, okay? So they kept saying to me, they're flying without a license. Now, we could say the term flying is navigating your intuitive abilities, navigating your timelines, manifesting. The word manifesting, gosh, you guys are gonna hear me go on this forever. I really hate that word. Let's substitute it with attracting, okay? Because manifesting comes with a certain level of like cajoling or force sometimes. Attracting is working with your own intuitive guidance, organizing that information, that energy for yourself, and then allowing God to bring you, allowing source to bring you the circumstances, which is an attraction rather than a manifestation, if that makes sense. One is like really actively molding, making. The other one is saying, this is what I want. I'm willing to do the work, show me the work, I'll step into the right timelines, and then allowing God to pitch the balls to you and give you the softballs to show you the next step, next step, next step, next step. Attraction involves releasing control. Manifestation involves using control. Again, it's not bad. We can also liken it to divine feminine versus divine masculine. I'm stepping in feminine. I'm coming at it from the place of attraction because intuition is more feminine. Whereas the manifestation would be a more divine masculine role, a more personal masculine role. We all have these polarities within ourselves. We're all constantly working with our own divine feminine and divine masculine roles, or karmic feminine and karmic masculine roles, which are the roles that we fall into based in cause and effect, based on past circumstances, based on whatever the fuck is running around in the subconscious that we don't know. It's unconscious autopilot, okay? When you think of karma, think of unconscious autopilot. Karma is resolved the moment you make it conscious. All right. Okay. Thanks for tuning in with me, you guys. Let me just think real quick where I want to go with this. So what are the Akashic Records? They are the organization of your soul data and understanding. There are different levels to the Akashic Records based on clearance that you're given, based on what you can handle. You can think about it like going to school. I don't know that I love the school scenario, but think about it like you're at a university and right now you're an undergrad, okay? The Akashic Records are gonna help you master your undergraduate curriculum, in this case intuitively, so that you can move into your graduate curriculum or your PhD curriculum. The PhD curriculum is like, I am the creator of everything around me. What I say goes. I work with God and I am just creating completely new paradigms out of my reality where I'm breaking the fucking mold of everything I was built into because I have earned that right and that understanding through being willing to work with my guides and my soul data and integrate it into my ability to make conscious choices and decisions on a daily basis to the point where you're met with graduations through all of this. Now, how do we access all of that? All right, the Akashic Records are accessed through your meditation practice. There is a specific way to get into them. For those of you that work within the Akashic Records, I can shift in and out of a frequency very quickly. Now, for those of you that are new, it's good to state a prayer. It's good to go through a traditional method of entering the Akashic Records through meditation because it will enable you to feel the difference of being in that frequency of awareness and out of that frequency of awareness. And being able to step in and out of it will give you the subtle understanding of when you are in alignment with yourself or when you are running on some level of a bullshit karmic pattern. No, I don't know, no negative anything to karma, but I think most of us just don't want to deal with it. We want to be stepping into our destiny, our alignment, what we want, and we don't want to be stuck on autopilot from stuff we've done in the past. Of course, karma has its presence. I'm constantly working through karma too. We all are. And no discredit to it. I just prefer to constantly be on the side of like, I'm consciously creating rather than unconsciously creating, if that makes sense. I heard somebody recently say like manifest it. This was so funny. It was like, manifesting like a butt dial call. Like it's almost like that's kind of what karma is. It's like a butt dial call. Like you're making the call to source, you're like, I want this, and then it kind of comes in, you're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to pick up the phone and butt dial that person or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, somebody mentioned that recently and I was like, that's hilarious and such a good example. So instead of butt dialing, working with the Akashic Records is picking up the phone, choosing who to call, calling them, asking for what you need, presenting something that you want to give in service, and then allowing the exchange of prosperity with the universe through all the people around you in a very practical way. Accessing the Akashic Records. Okay, you do so through meditation, through prayer. It is a consistent practice. It needs to be done pretty much on a daily basis. Like anything else, if you were to start working out and you never worked out before, you're not just, like if you work out once a month, like you're not gonna see improvement, okay? It's cool if you wanna go into the Akashic Records once a month, like have at it, but if you wanna change your life, this is stuff you do daily. I taught myself how to work within my own Akashic Records. I'm gonna give you guys my background now. By going into the Akashic Records daily, for 20 minutes, all right? Now, when you start in the Akashic Records, when you're new, unless you already have very fine-tuned mediumship abilities, what generally speaking is gonna happen is you're just going to feel a different sensation of being in the space because it's kind of like developing your energetic vocabulary. I'll explain it like this. So like we have a certain amount of colors we can see with the eyes. It's like, when you're walking into the Akashic Records, it's like stepping into a whole new world of color, but you don't know what those colors are yet because you've never seen them before. So there's a real acclimation process to understanding the new intuitive data. So when you start working within your Akashic Records, a lot of that is gonna feel like you being in the dark. Like quite literally, like I remember the first time, there were two times, the first time I went in, it was like black and I just felt this like blackness. It's not that it's actually darkness, it's just that you're acclimating to something very, very new. And the more time you spend in your Akashic Records, literally just meditating, breathing, being in the space of the Akashic Records, You begin to, it's almost like your vision is super blurry, and then you start to be able to see the details because you're developing a familiarity of working in the Akashic Records. And when I say working, when you're just starting out, you're just like entering, absorbing, being, okay? It's just like showing up at a meditation class and being like, I'm here, I showed up, I have no idea what I'm gonna do, probably nothing. I'm just gonna sit here, I'm available for it until your practice starts to develop. Now, a lot of you also, when you go into the Akashic Records and it's new and you have some psychic abilities, you'll start to see, I remember seeing clouds, like just clouds. I remember another time I went in, it was just stars. And that is also very common for my clients, people that I've worked with in the past as well. When they enter, it's either clouds or stars, because you're starting to align with the galactic and cosmic data of your soul, which is new for most of you. Even if you're in an awakening process, until you start working with the Akashic Records, generally speaking, that awakening is going to be more on a physical, practical level, where it's like the law of attraction or the law of manifestation, or you're trying to get things in your reality, right? When you work with the Akashic Records, you're starting to tap into your galactic soul data. That brings in a lot of downloads. It brings in a lot of healing. It fine-tunes your spiritual and psychic abilities, even if you don't know you have them. It will develop your abilities. Like when people ask me, I've been gifted since I was a kid, but I didn't tap into it. And I realized there was a point in my 20s where I was like, this is a gift that I have. And I don't want to just sit on a gift. I want to learn how to use it. And when I started working within my own Akashic Records, and then I received training in the Akashic Records as well, all of it was great, but I spent a couple years just reading the records every day for myself. My gifts went from freaking, I don't know, like a 2 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 in a year. Like, I was given new psychic gifts. I was given new understanding. I would hear things that people were going to say before they said it. I would know what was going to happen in interactions before it happened. I was told constantly what someone was going to do before they did it, so that I can see, understand, and get real-time feedback on my psychic awareness, my psychic abilities, and learn how to trust the information that was given to me. Because many of you will ask me, like, what's the difference between intuition and your ego? Go into the Akashic Records so that you can shift out of your ego. Your ego is the desire for an outcome in any of these scenarios. So if you have a desire for a specific outcome, if you're wanting it, that creates an attachment. That attachment is based on your ego. If you're unattached and you're in a perceiving mode, that is your intuition. Let me think about, is there anywhere you guys want to take me right now? What I've done with the Akashic Records, which will show the importance of it. Okay, so here's the work that I've done in the Akashic Records. One, I opened up all of my psychic gifts in a safe way. The reason why I didn't tune into these gifts when I was much younger is because I was really, really scared of stepping into the psychic field. Any of you that know astral work know that it's a fucking nightmare. Or it's not, but it can be. There are a lot of demonic forces. There's a lot of weird astral energy from people that people project out. A lot of magic, a lot of witchcraft, a lot of BS I didn't want to touch. I also am just like not a fan of talking to ghosts. I don't like seeing lower level entity types. I don't like dealing with it. It's just not my work. So even though I knew I was psychic when I was young, I didn't tap into it because nobody could hold my hand through it that I found. I did work, a lot of my journey started with working with a shaman when I was 22. And that started tapping me into my higher abilities, that I started begin to trust my psychic abilities. And then the work in the Akashic Records for me is what made me feel safe. So here's how I'm going to explain what the Akashic Records did for me psychically. It's like stepping into a boxing ring. Now, boxing is a little aggressive, so I'm trying to find another way. Maybe a jiu-jitsu ring. Like, it's literally like you're being given access to your spiritual guides, ascended masters, your elevated ancestors, and you're stepping into simulations within this context of metaphysical understanding that does feel like, it feels like a fighting ring, but it's not for a fight. Like, if you're training in any level of martial arts, you're training self-defense. You're training your senses and your ability to quickly analyze what's going on in any situation, be able to navigate fight, which is to assert yourself in a dominant way, but not over dominance, but just like understanding your power and your authority in any situation, being able to move with punches, with wrestling, with honestly, any sort of entity type that is coming against you. That's how I would say it. We could call them dark forces. We could call them light forces that are just unconscious. Like, it doesn't even matter. It's like you're stepping into a ring and learning how to fight. Again, not fight for fight's sake, but it's like learning how to move, navigate, and protect yourself in this world and in this universe, because none of it is clean. All right, as above, so below, as below, so above. If you think that the things that we go through on Earth are non-existent up there, think again. I've had a lot of boxing ring matches with very large entity types, cosmically. I'm pretty good. But like, literally, it's training ground, it's simulation. The Akashic Records, I would call training wheels for your consciousness, training wheels for your ascension practice. Training wheel, and let's break down ascension practice. It's like training wheels for you to understand how to manipulate your reality to be something you want, something you prefer. Not wanting from attachment, wanting from like understanding, well, that's not working for me. I don't like that. Can I choose something different? Let's experiment. I want to learn how to play in a constructive way where I'm always safe, where I'm always having fun. I want to learn how to make the right choices. I want to learn how to trust myself. I want to learn how to trust the people around me. I want to learn the people that are not to be trusted, and I want to learn how to constructively boot them out of my life. That's real as well. That I feel like I'm in the constant ongoing process of that, and I've got it down to a science. All of this is work that I have done in the Akashic Records. I don't know that anyone else is going to explain the Akashic Records like this. It is a martial arts training ground. All right. It's a training ground for your consciousness. It is a training ground for your psychic and intuitive abilities and the understanding of integrity that comes with those gifts. Because here's the deal. When you work in the Akashic Records, you're working with your soul gifts, you are at an advantage. Okay. So there is a humility and an understanding that when you're working with the Akashic Records, you are now in an advantageous position of power, potentially over everyone around you. When you have that power comes with a great amount of responsibility. That responsibility is understanding spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical integrity. Just because you have the ability to see data doesn't mean you should be acting on all of it, doesn't mean you should be manipulating anything over other people. I'm specifically talking about people. Conscious consent and permission are two things that I have focused on tirelessly around my energetic work that I find everyone in my field either compliments me on, or they're like, I can't believe you work with that level of permission. I require permission at every level for everything I engage with because I have an understanding of power dynamics. And when you are highly psychically attuned, you can be in a manipulation position the way that, I'm going to explain it this way, we'll try to work it through. The way that a narcissist would have manipulation tactics, or a psychopath over an empath, because they just have more knowledge about how the dynamics work, so they're manipulating their circumstances. Energy is not any different, okay? And that's why the guides here in the Akashic Records in this light collective said specifically, tell them they're flying without a license and they need to get a license. That license is working within your own Akashic Records. Again, you can do this, jump in the description for free, grab my free training. Whether or not you work with me, regardless, start tapping into your Akashic Records if this feels right for you. You need to learn the license and the skills of working within the Akashic Records, again, with integrity. When you are in spiritual prowess, when you are highly psychic, you do have an advantage over other people. That advantage needs to be navigated very carefully and with love and understanding that you have an advantage. When you understand that you have an advantage, you won't force or manipulate other people when you're in integrity. I'm speaking to the light collective, so this is how we're working. I'm like, some people will use those manipulative things, and then they go into weird-ass karmic cycles that I don't even want to go into because it's tumultuous. Like, good luck, you guys. I like to function with integrity. Again, it's my fucking core value. So, integrity is it's not just a human thing. There are cosmic laws, okay? There are laws on how spirit works. You are given permission and clearance to talk with certain entities, to not talk with certain entities. You can go out of that sandbox, and there are big consequences for that. I recommend staying in the sandbox. Oh, that's what they're saying. I call it a martial arts ring. The Akashic Records are also a sandbox. It's like a very safe place to play. They give you a lot of, I don't know, it's like a toddler being in a sandbox and you're given a certain amount of tools. Like, they will never give you more than you can handle because they're watching over you. What I love about the Akashic Records and the guidance that I find there is that I call them cosmic chaperones. I like to be chaperoned. When they tell me they're not chaperoning me, I get frustrated because I'm like, but I want to make sure I'm only making the best decisions here. Now I trust myself to the point where they've been training me out of having chaperones. They're like, you're rogue. You're on your own. They're like, you can handle it. You know more than enough. Everything will be course corrected for you. I'm like, okay. But it's really nice when you're starting, when you're developing your psychic skills, when you're developing your cosmic power. It is force that moves through your body. For you to have a sandbox or the ability to play without worry that you're going to fuck it all up, without worrying that you're going to enter some sort of karmic contract that's going to sideswipe you later, in a number of ways that you don't want. Like, I feel like a lot of us are always like, I just want to make the right decision because I know what it feels like to make the wrong decision, and I don't want to feel like I'm going to get punched in the face by life or by the universe. Or like the phrase I used to use in my 20s was like, I'd be like, gosh, I just don't want to hit the pavement anymore. Or like, I don't want to get punched in the teeth by the universe. I feel like that happened again and again and again. You guys know, if you have experienced the dark nights of the soul, you just feel like you're getting knocked out. And I was like, I just don't want to live that version of my life anymore. How can this be easier? This is how you step in the sandbox. You avoid the scariness of your intuitive abilities. You harness and embrace them, and it is an intuitive process. Now, when you work with someone like me, I do have a program that I probably will launch sometime soon called Akashic Records Immersion. I am working with you as well as the guides and the records. So I'm training you as a human, and the guides are training you. But it is a very intuitive process, and when you work with your Akashic Records, the way that they train you is intuitively, okay? It's not necessarily all logical mental data. It is embracing the energy of what they give you as a download, and then working with that energy in a subtle way where you're starting to fine-tune your awareness. Now, the Akashic Records and the guides will send you information in a number of different ways. Sometimes, but for people like me, I am a medium. It comes in as audio data, or I'll see it in front of my face, or like, I'll get just a real knowing. But for a lot of you, when you're working in the Akashic Records, all right, it will just come across as a shift in your perspective, and you'll think it's you. You'll be like, I don't know if that's my guides. That just sounds like me. Is that my ego? It's you. But the records will meet you where you are. Your psychic data, this like development of higher guidance, meets you where you are, always. So if you can only understand first from your mind, which is generally how this work starts, they will meet you in your thoughts, and they will add gentle shifts into your thoughts that will feel like you. It'll just feel like you're thinking, but you'll notice that the thoughts are just slightly different than you typically think. That's them. That's the guidance. That guidance can just be an awareness, an aha, a moment of clarity. It's not always like psychically, like sitting in front of ascended masters, like talking to them and getting full downloads, like, which I've done a lot of. It's cosmic training, but that training will meet you where you are. Those of you that do have psychic abilities, they'll meet you in those psychic abilities. All right. And some of those psychic abilities may be a lot of synchronicity. That's what happens at the practical level with you guys, is like seeing animal spirits, seeing numbers, the angel numbers, hearing people say things in conversations to you that all of a sudden click some things into place. Spirit will always meet you where you are. It'll give you the access and the downloads where you are. Now, I'm going to tell you as well, if you just do like 10 minutes of meditation in the Akashic Records every day, but nothing happens during that 10 minutes, you have secured that for your 24 hours. Like, you're in that field of awareness, and that field will bring you new little miraculous experiences, synchronicities, to start stringing together the information from where you are to elevate yourself and access your highest timelines. All right. Your ability to shift and mold reality has everything to do with your ability to see new realities, your ability to see new potential, and then be able to make the choices and take the actions to move you towards and into the reality with that potential and live in that new energy field. They're showing them to me like columns of light. Like when we're shifting realities, it's almost like you're shown like the new higher reality with like what you want. Whether it's like a new income stream, whether it's attracting your soulmate, whether it's resolving disagreements in the workplace or disagreements with family or disagreements with friendships. Like they're showing me them like columns of potential. You step into the column and it doesn't always stream through as data, like information for your mind. When you step into that column, that's the new timeline. It vibrates in you, in your reality, in your energy, and changes how you perceive. And then based on how you perceive, you create new thoughts, new feelings, new ahas, and you take new action. And that's kind of how it strings together. And that will be shown to you and downloaded to you when you work within your records in a way where you're magnetizing, you're becoming the attractor to the circumstances where your guides, your spirit guides, will bring you the information you need to understand it at the mental level, which for a lot of you will not happen in the 10 minutes that you're meditating in your records. It will happen over the next 24 hours, 48 hours, the next week. The more frequently you do this, the more frequently your attention becomes attuned to what are the best choices for me right now based on what's going to make me feel the best, based on where I want to go with my life, and based on gently stepping away from anything that is no longer of service to you, like conflicts in relationships. I don't even like question, I'm trying to think about it. I don't even like question anymore with the conflicts in relationships. I can see very clearly if it's something that like threatens my self-value, my personal self-worth, I don't even engage. I just drop it and step away. But that's like the training that I've gained through the Akashic Records. I don't know why I'm saying that. That is for someone in here. Okay, so also taking out the trash. It's just taking out the trash in your consciousness. The more you can hear it in the background. The more time and dedication you spend in working with your own Akashic Records and this meditation practice, you're removing the like dust, the bullshit in your subconscious mind that's holding you back. It is a consistent process, you know, just like how your apartment, your home, you have to clean every week. The act of living creates dirt, it creates mess. So like your consciousness is never just gonna be clean, like good, okay, I'm done, thanks. Like it doesn't work like that. This is a regular active practice, just like working out would be if you want like a beautiful toned body, or like eating right, or your relationships, being attentive to your relationships. Like, you know, you can't neglect any aspect of your life and expect fruitful results. This is no different. All right, so here's what I've done in the Akashic Records. I've hopped major timelines. I'm not going to give you guys specific details because I can't. But what I will say is that I started doing this work early, man. Like, like I would get visions before I knew it was the Akashic Records, before I was working within it officially. But like I have hopped timelines, like drastic fucking timeline hops, where I have avoided significant danger, significant crisis. Literally just stepped out of it and stepped into a fucking entirely new reality. I have a lot of evidence for that for myself. I've gotten a lot of confirmation from other psychics that I've worked with and coaches, which is always good when you're doing psychic stuff to get confirmation, because otherwise we kind of like feel like we're crazy in our own little world because nobody else can see it until you meet another psychic and they tell you what's going on. And by psychic, I just mean somebody with similar gifts or abilities, because obviously in the land of psychic, there's a lot of different things. And when I say working within the Akashic Records, working within integrity within the Akashic Records, you're working with your light. Integrity is just the name of the game. Okay, what else? Hopping timelines, making big career moves, going from nothing to something very big, working with celebrities. Like I've done a lot of things that were all big timeline hops that were because of my intuitive work here in the records. Knowing what relationships are best for you and not. I have navigated endless relationships, soul ties, soulmates, connections, karmic ties, within the Akashic Records, I've been able to release big relationships that were weighing on me, that were holding me back through this work, which has really accelerated my process to be happy. Like to have the best relationships around me, because I'm relentless about how I cultivate relationships. The Akashic Records helps me understand and safely develop my intuitive gifts and my psychic gifts and my mediumship, my ability to help others, my ability to be of service with others. They also gave me a few years ago my very own healing modality. That is not unheard of. Like when you're working with the Akashic Records and your guides, they will give you the ability to magically transform people around you, because they want you, they want to help you heal others. And I feel very blessed for the modality they gave me. You guys experience it with me in my guided meditations. It's my ability to activate consciousness through meditation. What else? They help you heal your past, feel safe in the present moment, know your next right steps, know what decisions to make, know how to trust those decisions, know what is for you and what is not for you, both with opportunities, relationships, circumstances, events, and knowing how to plan your future, not from fate, fate is like the automatic events that happen based on the momentum you've created in the past. But from your highest timelines, your highest potential, your ability to change what fate would give you based on past momentum, into what you want now, which is like harnessing at the energetic level, you're like harnessing the past timelines, alchemizing them in the now, holding that energy, and then creating a direction and moving forward, which is to cut previous timelines. This is literally quantum work. I'll try to explain this more and more through videos, but this is where I'm going. Anyway, what else do I want to say about this? For those of you in business, working with the Akashic Records could be reading future outcomes in business. It could be reading the understanding of how you're going to direct your marketing. It could be reading the understanding of your offers, what to charge for your offers, how to charge for them, how to present them. Honestly, I've worked with a lot of Akashic Records business guides and CEOs up there, and I love it. That's how I work. There's a significant quantum healing ability that you gain in the Akashic Records just by sitting in there, being in there, and then as you develop your experience more, you can create it more consciously, like the way that I do, or the way that I lead you guys through guided activations and meditations. So let me think. Ultimately, it's cultivating your higher purpose, opening your ability to perceive new versions of reality, and create a new life to support the life you want to live, and to create a new identity or pull out the facets of your current identity that would be more advantageous and more fun and more uplifting for you to steer your life in the direction that you want to go. And again, all of that comes with you beginning to work with your soul data in a way that's easily organized, which is the Akashic Records. They're telling me you guys can do this work without using the Akashic Records. A lot of you are tapping into the Akashic Records without knowing it. But it's like what the Akashic Records are, what they're telling me is the operating system. So like you have a computer, all right? What is the computer gonna do? You need an operating system. Are you gonna use Mac, right? Are you gonna use a Microsoft? Are you gonna use Linux? What operating system do you want? There are many different operating systems. The Akashic Records is an operating system for your computer. They're also telling me the Akashic Records also are the computer, but we won't go to the specifics of it because it'll get confusing. But they're telling me it's the operating system. So then you install the operating system and then you learn how that operating system works, because as everyone knows, Windows, Linux, and Mac are all different. And you might be a great Mac user, like all the creatives out there, right? And then when you get onto a Windows computer, you're like, how the F do I work with this? Like, so it's like, there are different navigation tools for your conscious awareness and awakening. And the Akashic Records is just a specific operating system, as well as computer, like your consciousness. How do I explain that? The computer would be the hardware. There's a software component and a hardware component. The hardware component are the specific, they're like specific anchors in your energetics that make you who you are. And the hardware even can be shifted and changed based on your awareness to meet you with more of the abilities that you need. So for example, this is gonna sound so funny, but this is the sort of work that I do. I needed some higher literal technical awareness on my computer last week. And I didn't have it, and I was stressed out about it. And I asked my records, I was like, hey, I need these abilities. Can you download them into me? And can I move into the state of the timeline where I have these higher technical IT abilities? And then can you guide my consciousness into the automatic right actions so I don't have to mentally analyze anything? So what I did is I went into my Akashic Records, I asked for the abilities, they downloaded them into my crown chakra as light codes. I felt them enter my body. I occupied them, which is it's to move, it's to shake it off, it's to embrace that energy. This could be running around, it could be shaking, like literally it's moving with the energy. It's a very sensual awareness because you need to occupy the energy in your cells to integrate it. And then I sat and I was like, okay, I'm on autopilot. I know that I've downloaded that program, much like how Trinity in the Matrix did to fly the helicopter. And then I said, show me the way. And I was very, very open and very perceptive. I said, show me the way, as if these skills are already mine. And I moved into automatic action where I did a bunch of things IT-wise on my computer that I don't know where the F they came from because Emelina does not have this knowledge, typically. And I was able to do everything like very efficiently, as if I had mentally planned it, as if I had studied it, as if I had the previous experience mentally in this field of work, and I didn't. But because I know how to download frequencies, step into the timeline, right? Step into the awareness, embody it in my body, and then get the fuck out of the way with my ego so that I can actually receive the next step, and then go on autopilot, which sometimes, a lot of times feels scary, I gotta be honest, because we don't know what we're doing. It's very much, it's trusting God's moves to move through you, taking those actions, and then seeing the immediate results. The more frequently I can do that, the more frequently my life changes overnight. I step in and out of that level of awareness because you gotta be sharp, man. Like, it takes a high level of curiosity to stay open to new, just constantly curious. Like, you can't like anchor into an outcome. So it's a process, but I really love and adore that. That example is for whoever that feels right to you. What they did tell me, let me think. So essentially the Akashic Records are spiritual training and ascension. It's opening up and understanding your spiritual gifts, your healing abilities, and your leadership or reading ability. Understanding intuitive data, and how to work with it. It's organizing your highest potential and magnetizing your highest timelines to you, which is stepping into the best that you have, that life has to offer you in this moment. Allowing yourself to jump ahead of the line. Like, if you go to Disney World, like, you want to be at the end of the line, or you can jump to the head of the line. Like, if you have a pass for that, the Akashic Records are that pass. If you choose to work with that pass on a regular basis for yourself, for your intuition, you don't have to wait in line cosmically for the events to line up. You can jump the line intuitively, occupy that new state, and then source will bring you the new resources. It is a process. It is a constant process. You know, even those of us that are very attuned, very sensitive, very aware, like, we don't get out of doing our work. Like, there's no like set it and forget it. Like, this is a constant process. You are only as conscious as your last conscious moment. Like, you know, like, ascension work, like enlightenment, mastery is not like ever done. And even those of us that are the most conscious, like, can slip into very unconscious patterns. And it's a choice daily. It's a choice. It's a choice. All right. You don't set it and forget it. You're constantly cutting the lines, essentially, energetically asking to jump the line and then occupy that new state and then move forward in that new state of awareness, which takes new practice, new neural pathways, new understandings, opening up to new potential realities, new possibilities, entertaining new thoughts that feel better, seeing how those thoughts feel as they start to manifest in your feelings and in your environment, then changing course and direction based on the feedback you receive from yourself to yourself and from the mirror of reality. Like, do you like it or not? If you don't like it, well, stop doing whatever that is, move on. Like, this is ascension work, right? Okay, it's also like leaving the karma behind. You can resolve karma borderline instantaneously. Again, I will say karma is resolved the moment the unconscious becomes conscious. The moment you start working with a new state of consciousness that's no longer on background autopilot, running like a background computer program that you forgot to look at, you know, like, let's say like, oh my gosh, this is so freaking 2000, but like you're burning a CD, like you've got that running in the background and you're like on freaking, I don't know, Safari or Chrome, like searching for like new things on YouTube and you're watching all these videos and blah, 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 blah. But that CD that's burning in the background is like taking a certain amount of power and resource from you. That's the karma, okay? But like you totally forget about it. You forget that you even did it. And as you're working through YouTube and like other things, I don't know, you're watching videos, whatever you're doing, the computer sends you an alert that says you're at capacity. And you go, what the fuck? How the fuck am I at capacity? Why am I burnt out? Why is my body so hungry? Why do I have to sleep so much? Why are these relationships toxic as fuck? And how do I get out of them? What is going on here? And the computer, your consciousness, your body is like, no, 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 we're out of resource. And you're like, how is that possible? I only have 4 tabs open on my computer. I'm working this through. There's no reason. I can't possibly be at resource. Well, it's like, did you forget you were burning a DVD? That takes a lot of resource. This is like the example they're giving me right now to say that your subconscious is running karmic patterns in the background that you may have set years ago and you forgot that they're running, okay? They're like tasks in the background of your consciousness that once you bring your attention, like in this computer scenario, once you bring your attention to, let me look at what other programs I'm running on my computer. On my operating system, what other tasks am I doing? And then you go and you look on the sidebar and you go, oh my gosh, I forgot I was burning this DVD. When's it gonna be done? Maybe I should just abort it, or maybe I wait 30 minutes and it finishes, or overnight, or whatever the hell the process is. And that is the understanding they're giving me. Once you realize what's been running all your resource or a majority of your resource on autopilot that you forgot about, which is a program you set into motion, a momentum, your past circumstances creating certain amount of momentum running in the background of your consciousness, running in your subconscious, which again is a task that you haven't paid attention to in a while. That's working itself through. Once your attention goes to it, you go, oh my God, I totally forget I was burning a DVD. Of course my resource is being used up. That's so easy. I'll just be patient and wait the 30 minutes to finish, or I'll abort the whole mission, delete it, and stop that task and free up that hard drive space and the core processors to like what I actually want to create. Like that's the karma. The karma is the moment where you bring closure to the understanding of what the past cycle is that you've been running on autopilot unconsciously, that you likely set into motion a long time ago, and it brings it to completion because there's no heaviness behind it. You're just like, oh my gosh, I forgot I set that into motion. I forgot that I was burning a DVD. That's funny. Do I still need that DVD? We are now in 2024. I probably don't. I could probably rip that off somewhere, like whatever the hell it is, okay? Like they're showing me handbrake burning a DVD, which is, I guess, are things that I used to do. So it's like, and that's the point. Oh my gosh, that's the point. Thank you, you guys. They're bringing up a DVD or a CD because that is so irrelevant to today. Like, of course we're not doing that. We're putting that shit on a flash drive. We're like streaming, you know what I mean? Like, it's not relevant. That is the level of the gap in what's happening in your subconscious with these past programs. It's like you started burning a CD, like, they're sending me this reference. I don't listen to Christina Aguilera, but this is what they're like. It's like you decided to burn a CD for a Christina Aguilera album in 2000, and you left it burning in your consciousness, in your subconscious mind, and you forgot that it's running. And now in 2024, you're like, where are all my resources? And you're like, who is that? I'm totally not on those music trends. I really don't care about that pop. Like, and you're like, wait, a CD? Like, that shit can be fucking streamed or like texted to me like immediately. Why am I running all this resource to burn a CD for someone I don't even listen to anymore from 2000? And you're like, it's 24 years later. Like, whatever the scenario is for you, okay? They're showing this to me specifically to show that that is the gap, is you set this into motion in the past. It's archaic. It's outdated. The moment your conscious mind, attention and awareness is brought to the pattern, the karma is resolved. Because in this scenario, I would look at the CD and go, why the hell am I burning that? That's totally irrelevant. I don't need that. I can access it streaming. Actually, I don't even like that artist. Like, I don't even want to listen to this. Let's just cut that tie and go. That is a karmic cut, a cord cutting, in this case with an event in your subconscious mind. Okay? When you cut the cord, when you stop the processing, when you stop the burning of this archaic pattern that you don't even need anymore because you've already changed, all of that energy is released into your current moment, into your current available awareness. And then your hard drive, your memory space on your computer, which is your consciousness, is freed up for new tasks, for new possibility, for new potential awareness, for new anything. And once you realize how many resources we're sending backwards to things we started to do in the past in our consciousness, and it's freed up now, you're gonna be given so much more energy. The karma is resolved. All of this work is easy to do in the Akashic Records. Again, the Akashic Records is it's the software program. There are lots of ways to do this work. I find the Akashic Records to be the easiest for me. That's why I'm sharing all of it with you. They also want more of you in positions of leadership where you're working with them very actively, because they're up there like, we have this entire fucking robust software program. These humans could do a lot less manifesting, a lot less force manipulation at the physical level, and could do a lot more energetic data and syncing up, where we would just upgrade their fucking operating system of their intuition, of their psychic data, of their knowledge of themselves, and how they translate and transmute the authentic soul frequency, what your soul wants you to do at the highest spiritual level, into your physical practical reality, which is to cut the lines. Like what I was saying, like going to Disney and being like, you want to stay on the line for 3 hours, or you want the pass that cuts the line? That pass is the Akashic Records. All right, it's like, like, this is so funny how they're streaming this through. Anyway, so it's, you know, it's leaving the karma behind, resolving it borderline instantaneously, and then creating new contracts. The new contract is the new decision. When you close up that burning of the CD that you didn't even fucking care about, and you say, I'm not doing that shit anymore. Here's where I want my new resources. I want them all based on, I don't know, like, show me some powerful career moves I can make. Show me how to become a multimillionaire, and show me from the place of me not reaching, but from the place of me saying, that's who I am now, what would I do? That is the difference they're showing me. Burning a CD from 2000 of an artist you don't even listen to shifting into being able to become the highest version of yourself, which they're showing to me in the case of becoming a multimillionaire. All right? That is the difference of that resource capability. They're showing me the smallness of a CD and how much energetic space that takes up in your conscious experience versus becoming a multimillionaire. That's the release of the energy. Release the bullshit with the CD. Release the archaic, analog, weird-ass patterns you got going on in your mind. There's no shame around that either. Like, and then literally that energy frees up for you to create something very, very expansive. It's almost like 1,000x the energy. I don't know how else to explain this. I hope it's making sense. It's moving from a contraction state that's pulling your energy backward to going in a super expansive state where everything you do expands. Everything you do gives you more energy. Everything you do gives you more power, because you're coming from the place of your conscious awakening in the seat of your soul now. What do I want now? How do I want to move forward now? How am I willing to cooperate now? And how am I going to start flying with a license? And working with my soul and with my spirit guides, so that I don't think that I am some isolated little fucking entity on earth with my little ego thinking that I have so much control that I can control and manipulate things around me. That is karmic law, all right? Most humans are running around trying to manipulate other people's emotions, other people's thoughts, and other people's physical actions in order to get what they want. I'm sure some people think I'm crazy. I don't do it. I used to do it. I don't now, because I don't need to. Because spirit has got it. I have the way to cut the line at Disney, okay? Like, I'm not here to like move through all the manipulation with people. You know, if anyone, you guys could say this for yourselves too, but like, if anyone like tries to emotionally manipulate me, I laugh. It's hilarious. If you guys knew my background and knew the amount of experience I have with manipulative people and narcissists, like, there's nothing you can get by me. Like, because I am in step with God. Me and spirit are we're together. I'm like, oh, that was cute. You tried to be a weird ass, like, karmic human. Get out of here. Like, the more aware you become to yourself and your soul imprint, your soul blueprint, who you are, separate from karmic realities, separate from other people's opinions of you, separate from what people want of you and how they would try to manipulate you into place. And it's no discredit, it's just how humanity works, right? Like, people try to manipulate each other all fucking day. Like, all day. All day. And it's the most hilarious for me. I actually really enjoyed this experience where people try to manipulate me in front of me. And I'm like, oh, you just don't know. Like, I'm not like that. This is going to be funny. And I let it run because I'm like, I see you. I see you. I think it's a comedy routine for me. I'm sharing that because maybe you guys will enjoy that perspective, like stepping into that, like, oh, I see you. It's not like, what? You tried to manipulate me? How dare you? There's none of that. Literally, I'm just like, I see you. Like, that's it. It's not a big deal for me because I can outpower it in a second. Because I know me. I know me. God's in charge of my life. My soul is in charge of my life. And the thing that I'm in charge of is keeping my connection very active. Daily. My source connection is active constantly. And as long as I'm doing that, I can avoid all this other mishap. Anyway, so what else do I want to say? They told me to say it's bending reality to meet you, not from the place of ego or force. Although the ego can play a role in this, that's not bad. It's just like you're bending reality. This is what the work is at the quantum level. Like, you're becoming one of my friends calls it like a black hole, like where everything is just magnetized to you. You're bending reality to meet you because your energy is with you, not siphoned off in all these other background tasks of burning CDs from the 90s or 2000 in like your consciousness, you know? So you're bending reality, not from like magic or force. There's no like manipulation. That's not how this works. You're bending reality from becoming so attuned to your own frame, so in step with your own soul, so authentic, so compassionate to yourself, which then that compassion overflows to other people. But you are self-focused. This is something I'll dive into more videos on at some point. But the self-focus is not a position of narcissism. It's literally, you cannot control anything outside of yourself. The more focus you place, instead of sending your energy out, trying to control people, circumstances, relationships, emotions, actions of others, and bring it back to you, the more you will realize you are the only thing you have control over. You have control over your thoughts, over how you feel, over how you act, over how you don't act, over what you decide, and over your own consistent alignment to your own source connection. You have control over nothing else in this world. All right. So when I say be self-focused, I'm saying, what can you control? Because when you place your attention on everything else around you and you try to control it, you become a manipulator. You become forceful over other people's wills, over certain trajectories, over a certain amount of fate. And we can do that. Spirit will give you a certain amount of leeway depending on where you are in your consciousness work. You know, like, we're given a lot of safety, but it's not that constructive. Those of you that are hearing this need to hear the other side of it, which is bring the focus to yourself. Control you. And really the control is you being in alignment with your source and not manipulating anything around you. It takes a lot of trust, faith, and surrender in order to constantly focus back on yourself and allow spirit to make the moves for you. Spirit to create the more ideal circumstances. Spirit to remove the people out of your life that don't belong. Spirit to bring in the people in your life that do belong. Spirit to bring you the job opportunities. Spirit to bring you your money. Some of you are manipulating a lot of circumstances to get money. Spirit can do that for you. Anyway, all right. So it's all coming from divine will, from understanding your own creation power and following the rules of the universe. There are rules. All right. Just like we have laws and regulations to drive on the road, to fly in the sky, in an airplane. There are legal regulations. We have courts of law. Like, there are specific things in place to run our world and to run each country. The Akashic Records, the universe, spirit is no different. There are rules, there are regulations, there are karmic understandings, there are boards that manage karma. There are different governing bodies at the multidimensional level that I channel that have a lot of say in rules, regulations, and laws. Those laws come down to you understanding your abilities, you not overriding anything that spirit says, essentially. Like, how do I explain this? It's like, stay in your lane. All right. Just because, you know, they said this in a previous video, I think it was on the Black Magic video that I posted, you know, there's a lot of you out there, a lot of people out there that have just enough knowledge of magic to be dangerous. There are rules around magic use. Okay. Oh, they're bringing Harry Potter for me. Okay, so there are muggles. There's a muggle world, right? And then there's the wizarding world. The wizarding world is all of you manifesting, creating, using your intuition, your psychic data, your knowledge. Like, it's not ruleless. There are rules. There are laws and regulations. Like in the wizarding world, right? They have the laws like you can't use whatever those specific curses are, or you go to freaking, I don't know, like wizard prison, right? Like there are specific things you can and can't do. There's a specific way that you move through your intuitive data and knowledge of magic. Your understanding of magic. There are certain levels of magic. You can't practice magic outside of your level, right? In Harry Potter, I forget what it's called, but they do that. Like you have to stay to like the schooling level you're at. You're given more leeway in school than when you get out of school because you're in your training ground. The Akashic Records are the training ground, okay? A lot of people, they're actually saying this to me very clearly. There are a lot of light workers that don't realize they're doing it, are working magic outside of their abilities. It's like, okay, you know how to pilot a plane, but you don't know how to use the fucking dashboard. So you're up in a plane with a mentor, whoever that mentor is, whether it's a spiritual mentor, whether it's a physical mentor in some way for those of you. And then you just continue to fly the plane because you don't have the awareness of knowing, I don't know actually how to fly this plane. I just have a specific like natural ability that somehow got me in the plane. And I know how to turn the wheel and I'm in a cockpit. I must be a pilot. And what they're saying to me is like, whoa, Nelly, slow your fucking roll, because you need a trained instructor that actually knows how to fly in specific conditions, in all conditions, and how to land the goddamn plane in a really safe way. Okay? Safety is fundamental. Psychic abilities are not to just be played with. Manipulating your reality, activating higher timelines is not just like you're not just like fucking around. Like you are flying a plane. There are dangers to that. They're saying this so clearly to me, so I know some of you really need to hear it. There are dangers to how you fly. You might be really great at flying in clear skies. All right? But you don't know how updrafts work with a mountain range, and you just flew fucking close to a mountain range. You're going to die. You're going to crash. Like now, I don't know that they're explaining that to me, what that looks like psychically. I don't know. They're not even telling me, but they're saying to remove the fear aspect is in. You're not going to crash because even you listening to this is you receiving some of the pilot's license ability. It's like a gate or a training around your consciousness that allows you to understand the karmic consequences of using magic and staying in your training level. Just because you know how to use a wand doesn't mean you should go creating hexes and curses. I don't know if anyone's watching my channel that does that, but you're warned. I'm going to go on the lighter side of it. Love spells. I can't tell you how many circumstances I've heard or experienced where I'm like, oh my God, they cast a love spell on them. There are huge, huge karmic consequences to trying to make someone love you. Don't fucking do it. And I see a lot of this stuff on YouTube too, where they're like, oh, just do a love spell on them. Oh my God, do not do that. You can do a love spell on yourself. You can pump yourself up so you have so much love for yourself that you attract the right partner that will feel like that it has that magnetism. You can do anything self-love focused, you're good. Do not try to manipulate circumstances or consequences around you or people around you because you have that psychic ability. Again, it's like, okay, you have a wand and you learned how to do a few flicks. You know how to start a little fire, and then you're taking that and you're like, I'm gonna make that person love me. Like, what? Like, if they haven't voluntarily entered your life as a soulmate and claimed the relationship as a soulmate, they are not your soulmate. Don't try to force any of that shit. They're sending that through so animated. I actually am seeing like 50% of this audience needed to hear that. The other 50% are probably in relationships. I'm gonna start getting so much more fresh, you guys. Like literally, I can't stop. I've been holding the comedy stuff back because some of me gets like self-conscious about like saying shit that I feel like I shouldn't be running my mouth, but I think I'm just gonna be doing it. So the other 50% of you are in relationships. Oh, just manipulating each other. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Kind of. Truth and jest, right? I can be so spiritual, and also my human self needs to be very comedic. I've been through a lot of trauma in my life. I have fucking been to hell and back, and the only way that you get through that is being able to laugh. Like, I can make jokes at anything. Like, I am here for it. Whether or not my sense of comedy is dark, we're not sure yet. I'm working through it. I'm just pleased that I'm laughing right now. Hopefully you're laughing with me. If you're not, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Sorry. What the fuck? What are you guys doing to me? I'm here for this. Okay. What's next? Where are we going with that? You guys were going without the license. What else about the magical abilities? Pray for guidance. Pray for your higher self to take over, your spiritual awareness, your higher power, your highest guides to show you what magic to use, what magic to not use. Again, it should feel safe. The development should feel safe. And they're showing me again, like, you guys have wands. That's like your power. How do you use that power? That's done with integrity. If you use that power to control other people, which can theoretically be done at the psychic level, then expect yourself to be fucking controlled for the rest of your life. Like, we don't get out of that karma. Now, if you use that power to create your own direction of yourself, to level up in yourself and don't focus on controlling anything around you, continually submitting to divine will, also understanding that the divine wants you to create the direction for yourself. The divine wants to back you and bring you what you want in the circumstances. It's a gentle balance of asserting yourself and asserting your direction, occupying your power, and then giving up to source, right? Like, I'm here, I'm powerful, I'm a creator, and God, take it over. I trust you. Sometimes it's scary as fuck. I hope I am the most, like with you guys, I always really just try to be myself, but I really feel like I'm very honest at the human level. Like, I'm totally spiritual aware. I can always speak to that perspective. And I've also got the human side of me very much on tap, and I'm very aware of her. She's my comedian. She's like, this is the direction. This is what I want. And then it's like, God, take over. God, take over. Oh, God, I gotta let go of all his thoughts and feelings. You mean I can't control anything? What do you mean I can't control it? That's the human. Welcome to the ego. I'm familiar with both. I'm always going to try to speak to both. Hopefully, that makes me somebody you want to listen to, because it's entertaining or real. And if it's not, that's okay too. The Akashic Records will teach you how to be yourself. How to be okay with yourself. I probably never would have said this whole little comedic scenario had I not been in my records. They're like pulling it out of me to be like, look at how safe you are. That's the whole point of this work. You're safe in your experience. You're learning how to fly with a license rather than without a license. There are skills and developmental abilities, understanding of your consciousness that need to come into awareness. Now, I want to remove some of the fear that might be coming up for some of you. If you are, if you're honest with your approach and you are in personal integrity, in general, spirit will make exceptions when we fuck shit up, right? Like, if we use our magic wand and do something that was out of our pay grade energetically, if you are not conscious of it, spirit will give you grace and bring your attention to it before you get hit with a hammer. Like, you won't get hit with a hammer out of the gate. Your attention is brought to different ideas or understandings or power dynamics so that you can then make a choice. Spirit meets you where you are. If you are in the higher pay grade energetically with your magic and you make that same mistake, you will get sucker punched by the universe. These things are, the way that I navigate consciousness, again, is very legally. There are rules, there are regulations, there are understandings, there are permission levels, there are consent levels. There are power levels. Like, for example, maybe you guys have seen in a lot of my posts, like, I feel like I've had so many people try to make me their enemy. And I am like, you are not in my pay grade, sweetheart. Like, absolutely not. I'm not going to allow you to be an enemy. Like, I am not giving you that power. That would be to distribute my own power, and I'm actually much more powerful. I'm with source. I don't need any of this nonsense. And this shit happens all of the time. It's like, they're saying pay grade. Stay within your pay grade. Like if you're, in tarot, it's like, I'm going to explain this in two ways. In tarot, it's a page. If you're a page and you approach an emperor, this is the card I pulled out today. You approach an emperor or an empress, and you say, I want to fight you. Like, sweetheart, good luck. Like, the Emperor's gonna decimate you. They're not even gonna decimate you. The Emperor's gonna say, get the fuck out of my court. Like, you don't even belong here. I didn't give you permission to be here. You can't just like, you can't just like, I don't know how else to explain this. And you're protected at each of these levels too, but it's like, you should be appropriately matched, you know, like in any level of martial arts. They're not just gonna like, if you're a white belt, you're not just gonna be put up against a black belt unless they're training you. But like, it's like a killing machine. Like you need to stay within your pay grade. You need to stay within your grade of magic. Okay. A lot of people, the reason why they're sending this through is a lot of people start to get acclimated to magic and they're like, oh my gosh, I have all these abilities now. But they don't have the ability to discern or see the difference between a page and an emperor, or the difference between an entry-level magician and a high priestess. It's like, you need to be able to see the differences, because they're showing me a lot of people actually in the Lightworker Collective that are running around trying to level up to people that are well out of their grades. And it's like, what do you guys want? Why are you saying this? What do you want me to say about it? We're just bringing conscious awareness to your ability to perceive and the discernment of where you are energetically, understanding that not all psychic intuitive abilities are created equal. Not all consciousness is created equal, but there are actual majestical levels, and there is a hierarchy of ascension and of awareness, and you have to stay within your lane of what you are allowed energetically to perceive, to work within, and how to work with your reality within that level. And all of that has everything to do with how much integrity you are able to bring to your magic and how you embody that integrity, which they're showing me as a percentage basis. So your magic will increase as you are able to meet the magical abilities, the intuitive abilities, the psychic abilities, with the understanding and responsibility of what it is to have those abilities. If you're given a lot of psychic abilities and you think that doesn't come with tremendous responsibility, think again. We're gonna go back to the Emperor, okay? The Emperor is ruling a kingdom. The head that wears the crown is heavy. All right, there's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of leadership. There's a lot of understanding. You're not just given the cosmic abilities. You're given them for a reason. Like those abilities are given to you, like my high priestess abilities are given to me so that I can share. I'm supposed to be in positions of leadership to help move people into alignment with themselves for whatever reason God has for me. But it's like, you're never given more than the leadership ability. The more you understand that responsibility, the more you understand that leadership ability. Some of you are in apprenticeship roles, like pages, like more entry level, and it's very exciting. And you're allowed to play because you're being watched over by a certain level of cosmic awareness that is acknowledging the hierarchy of the fact that you are in school right now. The point of you being in school is you understanding that it's a playground and not to do, I don't know why they keep saying this, but they do. So clearly this message is needed. Not to do magic outside of your pay grade. If you're a page, if you're new to this work and you're trying to cut all karma out of your life and be set free and create a brand new timeline, like you're not there yet. It would cause more harm than good. They're not saying this to make you fearful. They're just giving you the awareness, because actually all of you are being, how do I say this? You're being, they're showing, you're being shepherded. Herded? I don't know. Like your consciousness is being given like a container right now so that you can feel more safe around how you expand. That's what's being shown to me. They're starting to show me the difference. So it's like if you're working a 9 to 5 and you just started learning your magic abilities, you are really working with your intuition, you want to be a multimillionaire, you want to run your own business, like the change that would need to happen between those two things is huge. Can it be done? Abso-fucking-lutely. Can it be shortcutted? Yes. Now, if you were to just like up and leave the 9 to 5 and be like, nah, and you have like a family to support and shit, and you just jump it, like it's going to be a train. Well, it's not guaranteed to be a train wreck, but this is how they're showing it to me. If you create a big, how do I explain this? Explain it. if you create a big drastic shift, how do I explain this, you guys? It will be painful. It's like jumping a train track too soon. There is a level of shifting into different realities depending on how drastic what you want is, what you want your future to look like. How drastic is that of a change from where you are right now? That's not just physical. A lot of that is spiritual work. Spiritually, can you handle that? And your soul will know. Some of you get smacked down from accessing either your higher abilities or much more money, because money is power. It's akin to spiritual ability. It's just a different level of energy. It doesn't make it spiritual or not spiritual. It's just like, oh, when you receive a lot of money, you're given a lot of power. And if you can't manage that power in a responsible way spiritually, spirit will not give you access to that money. If you are in spiritual awareness, if you are a light worker. Obviously, like, there's a whole nother train of things I'm going to get into that is a train wreck that I'm not even going to touch on, but they're asking for me to clarify that discernment. You're always given the next best timeline based on your, quote, magic pay grade, based on what you can handle, based on your integrity, based on your authority, based on your responsibility. The more integrity, responsibility, and personal authority you claim for yourself, the more expansion you're given, the more capabilities you are given to change your timelines in a much more drastic way that will feel gentle and safe, because you're occupying the responsibility and the awareness and the integrity. I can't press integrity enough, you guys. Integrity, integrity, integrity. There are a lot of people running around in the world of psychic everything that are not running with integrity, or they might be running with integrity, but they're running with like 20% integrity or 50% integrity. What spirit tells me is you need 80% integrity in order to walk into the next level. So that means your subconscious, your automatic patterning needs to be in 80% agreement with the energy that you embody. You need to be in 80% agreement with yourself. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Step back. Some of you are stepping back in your consciousness and going, how am I back here again? Because you're learning how to bring integrity and alignment into things in your background that are manifesting now, because you can't move into the next level spiritually while you have that bullshit in your past running and burning a CD in your consciousness. All right, I'm going to check in with them briefly if there's anything else they want to say. If I have enticed you or entertained you, please go check in the description link below and get access to my free 6-part video training and an entire like hour-long workshop on the Akashic Records. I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. You can get access to that link below, and then let me ask them if there's anything else they want to say. They just literally said the prayer they say to me every morning. I pray to be made in a safe and happy way. If you pray that every morning, you're praying to stay within your lane energetically. You're praying to be watched over. You're praying for some level of energetic chaperoning, essentially. I pray to be made in a safe and happy way. Anything else? They said, congratulate yourself, Emelina. Okay, thanks. I'm here. This was fun. I hope you guys like my quirky nature. I can't stop her from coming out. She's coming out more and more. I am starting a podcast soon as well. Okay, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. I'm very excited about it. I think spirituality is beautiful. It's everything I do. But it's also so, oh gosh. When people talk about spirituality, for the most part in the collective, it's like you have to be perfect. You have to constantly like look perfect and be perfect. You can't make choices out of alignment. Like, oh my God, it's like it's beautiful, but it's also a level of acting or a level of performance. Now, I believe in being spiritual as a human. I believe in the human experience just as much as the spiritual experience, and I believe in bridging them. That means that we go through crunchy shit. That means that we should talk. That means that we say funny things that might not be funny. You know, it's all done with integrity, but like literally, I'm starting this podcast. My friend Sarah's coming on for the first episode, and we are going to do some spiritual shit talk. What that means, I'm not entirely sure yet. And when I say shit talk, it's very, it's not gossip. It's like very, it's like my way of saying that I'm not gonna like over spiritualize concepts. I want to have conversations with people that are very real, very spiritual people that are in such a level of integrity and personal integrity within their own alignment, their own personal development, their own spiritual practice, and then have very real human conversations about how we navigate with that level of spirituality in the very real world, with bullshit power dynamics, with, you know, work dynamics with colleagues that are freaking crazy, with like relationships, let's talk about that one, with like how to make money, how that works, how people navigate money, all of the things, all of the human things in a very spiritual way. Hopefully with some comedy. The more comfortable I get, the more funny I'll get. That's what I've got. Okay, I'm gonna check with them. I'm gonna check in with my guides one more time here. And then I'm going to read through your comments real quick. They're just telling me that listening to this, because I want to make sure that it didn't spike any fear, because there were things I said that around like the pay grade, around understanding your levels, like you will be attuned to the right level. You'll understand. Even just hearing this, your consciousness is being given the container of understanding responsibility so that you can move forward in a more efficient way, where spirit will give you a lot of grace. We are given a lot of grace to make mistakes as humans. So much grace, you guys. You're really not going to screw your life up. At least that's my position, my thinking, my feeling about it. So relax. You're loved through this entire process. And this was a download or a transmission for you to just understand the responsibility around personal magic. So that you can, wait, let me see. Can I see the chat? So that you can navigate your life perfectly and efficiently. Okay, I'm gonna skim through your comments. I love you guys so much. Hello, my dears, all of you. Oh my gosh. I just did an Akashic Records guided meditation. I saw a giant eye, which I've heard other people see. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen that, but that is so cool. Oh my gosh, you guys are going in. Oh, I'm so excited. I want to understand why I'm here. That's perfect Akashic Records territory. It is tapping into your larger soul purpose and understanding what you're here to do. And I'll say a lot of the work that I do with my clients, everyone that I work with, is I don't even know that I do it on purpose, but it happens with me because I'm so attuned to my multidimensional frequencies, my cosmic awareness, that I help people sync up their spiritual their human purpose in this life, whether it's your career, how you move in the world, with the cosmic purpose. It syncs everything up. Because otherwise we have like a very split, like there could be a human purpose and then a separate cosmic purpose. When people work with me, actually you guys are already, like to a degree, you're interacting with my energy and through the Akashic Records, really this field, you'll begin to sync up to that awareness. I think that just happens when people are around me or listening to me. You guys, yeah, you can develop these abilities. Obviously, I am talented, but there's no reason why you guys couldn't work on them. I liken it to martial arts. It's like, okay, just because you're not good at martial arts doesn't mean you can't go into a training gym and learn how to be good over the next few years. You know, with consistent practice, dedication, discipline. You're meditating. I'm just skimming through all of these things. Oh, you guys, I'm gonna cry. Okay, I'm gonna start shouting at your names. Star Queen Drea, Andrea, thank you so much. If I told you that I love you, sis. Oh, I love you too. I have love for all of you guys. George, thank you for being in here, custom molding. Lizzie, thank you for all of your wonderful comments. Maddie, I'm so happy you jumped in here. So nice to meet you. I'm happy you're reading your Akashic Records. Ron, thank you for being in here as well. Marisol, so beautiful to see you as always. If I miss anyone, let me know. I'm just going through the comments. Zeke, I'm happy to see you as well. Your intention is the highest good for all, including myself. Yes, absolutely. And LL Cam, nice to meet you. You're welcome. Alrighty, my loves. If you have any last parting questions, feel free to drop a comment. I'll give you a minute to sync up for that. And otherwise, I think I'm ready to bounce. Anything else? Akashic Records? Oh, they are reminding me. Some of you are very, very new to magic. You're just learning. Well, then you're in the right place, my dears. Grab a hold of my training below. This is also its own training that I'll probably add into that training, which is like learning how to start using your magic. Your magic is your ability to occupy your power, your awareness, and your consciousness in energetic form from your soul blueprint, which is your true, authentic self, your true, authentic soul frequency, your true, authentic soul expression that we then harness and express at the human level, right? I hope that makes sense. Alrighty, I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. And I'll see you soon, probably in all of my Akashic Records trainings and future videos. Okay, lots of love. Bye.